You guys didn't see, but we finished these, the bridge beam and the two side pieces yesterday. I filmed it, but then I lost it. So you won't see any of that.
So here we are, guys. It's time. It's time to start putting this together, and I couldn't be more excited. To start, we had to remove the beams from the piers so that Mike could grind the chamfer onto the piers and into the primer on the bottom of the beams. That way we could get a really good weld with some nice, clean, fresh metal. The way it was taught to me was that you always really clean your metal, because anything left behind on your metal is going to contaminate your weld. And a contaminated weld is going to make a weaker weld, which is more likely to fail. Next, Mike has to grind a chamfer onto the end of each beam for the same reason, to clean that metal to make a really good connection between the beams. You'll also notice throughout this video that Mike will clean a small spot on the side of the beam to attach his grounding clamp to. You always want to make sure you have a really good ground in order to get a really good weld, because that is creating the circuit that you need to melt metal. Mike may be Superman in disguise, but I'm kind of a wuss. So these beams are really heavy for me, and I am eternally grateful that I don't have to pick them up again. Yes, I know we spent a lot of time applying the primer to these beams just for Mike to be grinding it all off. We had already planned on going back in and touching all this up on the next warm day after we got everything welded back together. I did mention these beams are heavy, right? It's okay. We got it done because that's what we do.
No more picking these beams up.
Well, there'll be a little bit of fill on this one.
Okay.
Which, yeah, that's alright.
We're going to put plates between them anyway, so.
Yeah. Because even end to end, these webs don't quite perfectly line up. As long as it's flat up here, that's what I'm most concerned about. I don't think it's as square and flat as it's going to get.
Okay. As you can see, we are using a 220 MIG welder for this operation.
The welder of choice for this one, it's a Hobart Handler 210 MVP. It's a 220 volt MIG machine. We're using 30 thousandths flux core. This is the first I've run flux core on this machine, so we'll figure it out pretty quick.
Yep.
It's been a fantastic machine. I'd highly recommend it for anybody that's in the market. It's the one I should have bought when I bought the Handler 140. 140 is a terrific machine too, but doing heavier stuff, you bump up against its limitations pretty quick. I think my strategy will be I'll just tack, I'll throw a heavy tack on where the flange meets the web, both sides, top and bottom. And that should immobilize it. It's amazing the variance in dimensions from beam to beam.
Yeah. Now, when they make these beams, are they cast?
Nah, they're, what would you call it? Not really extruded, but
They have machines that do it,
yeah,
obviously. Because people aren't going to be doing this.
big god-awful heavy machines.
Is it like a giant Play-Doh machine?
In a way, I guess.
Be cool to see how they keep them kind of straight.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of weirdness in them.
Like I said, I figured that was kind of normal.
Yeah.
It's like wood, you know, it's not going to be perfectly flat unless you intend it to be perfectly flat.
Yeah. So I got a little generous with the chamfer on the top side, just so I can throw a lot of weld in it, and then we can grind it and get it nice and smooth, but there's still enough material tying it together. Because I'm not sure exactly where all the stuff is going to fall, you know, the clips or whatever they called them.
Yeah.
Lag the floor joist too. Alright, jibba jabba.
Let's do the thing.
And now, gratuitous welding montage. If you're new here, consider subscribing. As you can see, we have started building our arched cabin, and it's really starting to take off. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. I don't know about you, but I find welding videos to be extremely satisfying. As with any raw materials, you get some inconsistencies. These beams had a little bit of twist and a little bit of wave, so Mike had to do a little bit of fill. That's okay though, because we're going to put some plates over those joints and weld those plates on as well for a little added strength. And he really wanted to make sure he burned it in hot so it wouldn't go anywhere. All my hair standing.
When you are not rich enough to own a welding blanket, welding jacket will work.
This one's a lot closer than those two.
That's good.
Hell, that was way closer. Won't have nearly the problems with blowing through. Man, it's a much nicer fit up.
And guys, those squares from Fireball Tool are amazing. We can't say this enough. We'll put a link to their website below.
Dude's a genius.
Yeah, so
Just keeps coming up with cool stuff.
Fireball Tools, guys.
Mike spent the rest of the evening welding up the beams until we ran out of light. Thank you so much for watching this video and supporting our journey. If you'd like to support us in other ways, we do have a Patreon account, and I have a soap shop on our website. That's www.lazyaholeranch.com. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Now get out there and do the thing. I know you can. Well, as you can see, we've run out of daylight. Mike got all the beams welded together, and tomorrow we're gonna weld them to all the piers. Oh my God, we're so close. Ah! Since it's fairly close to Halloween, it was last weekend. Have you seen the ghost of John? Long white bones with the skin all gone. Ooh, ooh, John, wouldn't it be chilly with no skin on?